You are watching Channel Adrian TV.
Yo YouTube, what up? Welcome back to another reaction video. This reaction video deals with something I've always talked to y'all about. It's about understanding how people view money and what their debt is. Because if you're going to get legally married, you are going to take two incomes and basically combined into one. And depending on someone's spending habits and financial spending and just financial literacy, it can mess you up. So I have a video about a woman who, or let me be more respectful, wife who finds out her husband secret debt she didn't know about. And if I was in her situation, I would be mad as well. But let's get into the video.
We had just gotten an AEP bill that was, they do a thing where they settle up, where we ended up getting charged almost $1,200. And then I found out he had been spending more than I make in a week on sports cards.
On April 15th, 2025 in Ohio, a man filed a police complaint after allegedly being attacked by his wife overnight in a dispute about money.
Morning. You need to talk to a police officer?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Now, I'm watching this video the first time like y'all, and if it's a crazy amount of money, even though I believe you should not put your hands on people, I can understand if she put her hands on him, because let's say if it's like a 50K, 100K debt that she didn't do nothing, that she had no idea about. I can understand that, because you got to think about the seriousness of marriage. For someone to do that behind your back that supposedly loves you, I can understand a woman being so irate she puts her hands on her husband. Not saying it's okay though, but I get it.
Being IDs, you know who you're talking with or anything.
Yeah, so we'll get there.
So, we haven't had the greatest finances together, me and my wife, Holly. And so, this happened before where we'd gotten into an argument and she got so angry that she decided to hit me. Last time, she open hand slapped me in the face several times, and I just sat there and took it because it's not like me to go hit anybody. And then last night, which I took pictures of, she decided that, after another argument, she came at me and, she took her nails and she scratched me up pretty good, and it still hurts. And I had big welts on my chest and my arm where she had open hand hit me, and I got all the pictures for that too. I don't want to press any charges on her, but I just wanted to make it known because I need to have something with me because I'm gonna end up getting divorced.
I know what I just said, but that's a toxic situation. Like I said, if it's like he said, anytime they have money problems, she always puts her hands on him. And like I said, regardless if he's spending money crazy like that, it's still not a good situation to be in, because it can become toxic. And actually at this point, you can tell it is. And this is why I say all men and women, we all have cell phones. You should be, any domestic dispute, I believe you should record. And that's why I also believe you should have cameras in your apartment or house, because you never know what could happen. But he is doing a good thing of reporting it, because let's say down the road she does get mad at him and says he hit her when he didn't.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. And I don't know if you guys particularly have press charges for a domestic like that. Do you have to?
It just depends. It is a possibility,
I
yeah.
don't want to ruin anything. I still have to be considerate of what she has. She's got going for her, and I don't want to ruin that for her. So I don't want it to be a battle for that.
Okay.
So I want to make a report, but I don't want to press charges, if that's possible. I don't want anybody to even know that I came, because she'll just make it worse.
Okay.
If that's possible. She doesn't have anything against me. I've never hit her. She might say that, but yeah, it's her word against mine.
Right.
Yeah, but,
What happened last night? Was there any mutual fighting, or was it just one way?
she was just talking to me about a lot of the things, and I just really didn't even want to pay attention anymore, just because she was so vulgar with it, and she was saying a lot of mean things to me, and said that she deserves better and all this stuff, and that I'm way less than she is, because she can save more money than I can. It was all over finances, like I said. Yeah.
Now, you hear that? How many times have I brought up how if a woman makes more than you, or smarter than money than you are, she would think you're less than? I'll be honest, because of the way I speak on this channel, I do agree with her. As a man, you should be able to control your money. That's why I say a lot of men are broke, because they're living way outside their means when they're in relationships instead of being within their means to keep an attention from a woman or that keep a relationship. But with that said, it goes to show you what I be saying is true, and a lot of people be saying the same thing. It's just that's why I love social media, because it proves my point from other people.
Really not much else to it, but I do have the pictures to at least show you if you want to look at them.
Okay.
Because they were fresh. They kind of went away now. This one she had scraped me open pretty well, and I was bleeding.
Okay. You're bleeding too?
I was.
Yeah.
It was just with her nails, and it was me. I was backed into a corner, and I tried to like do this, and me doing this. She was able to.
Where'd this all happen at?
In my house.
The living room, bedroom?
Bedroom.
Okay.
After she did that, she decided to leave, and I went and sat down on the couch. I didn't realize I was cut open, but then my adrenaline started to go down, so it was about 10 minutes. I have the pictures, and I can actually give you the exact time I took the picture. So here's the open hand arm mark. There's 5 fingers. That was here. And there's one she hit me on my chest as well, and then that was the scrape. She cut me open with her.
Okay.
That was me just trying to like block it, and I never laid a finger on her. The only thing I did was I tried to push her off of me, but I never physically hit her.
Okay. If you're all right, we'll go back to your interview now.
I don't understand why you won't record it. Like, if you got pictures, I would. If you got pictures after that,
Anybody else in the house?
No.
Just you and her? So you guys don't have any kids or anything? Or... Okay. Stuff.
She's done this once before, but I've never laid a finger on her in my life.
Okay. So no police reports or anything like that?
I almost did one last time. My dad's a cop in Logan, so
Okay.
he told me I probably should, but I didn't. And I did have a video of her admitting that she hit me. I set her up in a conversation where she admitted it, but one night when I was sleeping, she got into my phone, found it, and she deleted it.
yeah, you see the level of how toxic that relationship is. Number one, anytime the relationship becomes physical once, that's once too many. And then for her to sneak into his phone and delete the video, I would have been left that relationship. But as I've said before, if whoever is in a financial worst situation in a relationship, that's probably why he stayed.
No record of it anymore. I don't know what it looks like this morning.
The other one's your left arm and left chest?
Yeah.
And then that's like a claw mark or something?
Yeah, here's one.
Okay.
And this is still kind of red.
Yeah.
And then there was another one that's kind of went away. It was real light, but this is the one that is the worst one. And if you can see it, if I'm you, I had done one of these, and that's when she got me there. So,
Okay. Conflict.
no, I didn't touch her
Yeah,
except for
okay.
just try to push her off of me.
Okay.
Never grabbed her, never squeezed her or anything like that. I've never been like that.
All right. But what you're reporting is domestic violence to a police officer.
I know.
So when I get reported domestic violence, there are things that I have to do,
Yeah, I understand.
regardless of man or woman reporting it, right?
But I feel sorry for anyone who has to go through that, though, men or woman. Any domestic dispute like that, it's not funny.
It was just one way. That's the way you're saying it, where she was upset over finances and everything else, and pretty much attacking you. The typical procedure, I'll just tell you what it is I'll ask you to give me a written statement, I'll photograph your injuries, and then I'll go interview her. And then after I interview her, if there's no other evidence that comes up, you having injuries is probable cause to charge you with domestic violence.
I don't know whether I should. I don't want her to be burned in any way.
Well, and then the thing is in domestic violence things, if I have probable cause, we're required to file charges.
Yeah.
If I don't file the report, you guys can't.
You're already here, and
I know.
you've essentially started the process.
And for those of you who don't know, now I've never been in this situation, but I know people who have. You have to file the report, because I know, in other words, what he's trying to do is make sure he makes it known to the police that he didn't put his hands on his wife. She put her hands on him, so he can't get charged. But if you're doing that, you have to file a report, and then she is going to get charged. If you don't file a report to show proof of that, it could become hearsay. And that's where he's conflicted, because he wants it to be legally known that he did tell the police what's going on, but he doesn't want her to be charged to go to jail. But you have to, if you want to make sure your name is clean, you have to file those charges. But because I don't want to get sued, make sure you know your own state and county's law. I always got to put that in there.
File the report. So once I know about what's going on,
And there's no exception.
yeah, the wheels already turning, you know. And that's just, I'm just being honest with you about that.
I understand.
You know, like once as far as my job and once I learn about certain facts,
Yes, I understand.
I have an obligation to start investigating stuff.
I understand.
Are you willing to write a statement out, a written statement about what happened, put it on paper?
I can, but
Okay.
I don't really want to get her in trouble in any way.
That's fine. You can put whatever, I can't tell you what to put in your statements, however
Man,
you word it.
I'll be honest. I've never been in that situation because I make sure to vet, but that still doesn't make sure
Like I
that
said,
I'll go through that. But I would still file a report
interview her
because you're not
first.
you're not
Maybe a
gonna
written
mess up
statement,
my
and I'll
name,
get a camera to photograph your arm if you're all right with that. I'll be right back.
because she could easily go around behind your back and lie and said you did it.
Before she leaves for work.
Yeah, her work starts.
I will call you, or I will have a dispatcher call you and let you know what the outcome is.
Okay.
So I need to go talk to her first. Hello, are you Holly?
Yeah,
I'm Officer Dobmeyer at the police department. I need to speak to you.
okay.
Would you like to step out or us to step in?
Is everything okay?
I'll talk to you once. So, your husband Joel
Yeah,
filed a complaint with me, and that's what I need to speak to you about.
okay.
Okay? Before I talk to you, I'm going to advise you of your rights so you understand them. And
You can see how she's I paused it at the perfect time. How that face right there, you could tell she's scared. And then I don't know if you could tell with her inflections in her voice how she was speaking. She's like, "Is everything okay?" And she's starting to clutch her chest. Just understanding tone, reading body language. You can see when she first saw the police at the door. From what I was noticing, she's like, "Oh, well, I was about to curse. I can't curse on YouTube," but she was thinking in her head, her husband went to tell the police.
nothing that you don't feel like you're tricked or anything. Okay, I want to talk to you about what happened between you and Joel last night. I understand your rights. Are you okay to give me a statement?
I believe so.
Okay. All right, what happened between you and Joel last night? Because he come and filed a complaint. That's what I need to clear up.
I found out he had been spending a lot of money. I had
Yes.
confronted him about it. I went into the bedroom to get away from him. He wouldn't leave me alone. So I got out of there and I went and I parked up at university for a while.
Okay.
By the time I got home, he was gone, and that's what I know.
Okay. So the reason I'm here is it was reported there was violence between you two, some form of physical conflict.
Okay.
So, arguments happen, I understand that, but I'm trying to, there's been an accusation that you were physically violent with Joel.
Okay.
So that's why I'm asking you.
Nothing other than me getting out of his way. I don't really know.
Okay. Was Joel violent with you at any point last night?
Like I said, see, it becomes a he said, she said thing. That's why I say with those domestic disputes, you need to record them because of this right here. And this is why I said I would have filed a report, because say he never files a report, she gets mad one day and go to the police department and said he hit her. You see what I mean? That's why at the end of the day, regardless if you're a man or woman, you have to protect yourself.
Has he
Sorry.
ever been violent with you?
No.
Okay. And you and Joel have been married for 3 years, is that correct?
Not quite 3, but 2.5.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And you live together?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, I've never had something like this.
that's
We're investing in a domestic violence complaint. That's why we're here.
Okay. So what?
And he has visible injuries.
Okay.
So I'll just be honest with you. Joel's got like red marks on his arm and scratches. They said,
Nothing other than him trying to stop me from getting out of the room.
okay.
Like, he wasn't trying to hurt me, but he also wouldn't let me leave. So the only thing I can imagine had happened is I had pushed him out of the way.
This would have been more than a push. He's on his arms got like scratches.
Yeah, I kind of grabbed him, but
where you dug your nails in, I guess.
I don't even have much nails, so I must have, you know.
Okay. Well,
So, yeah,
and
am I going?
his other arm, he's got like red marks from like being slapped, like open hand slap.
I mean, that was last night. I can't imagine I had done something like that. I mean, if I had done something, fine, whatever. I didn't think I had done that much.
Okay.
So, I mean, am I going to jail? Is that what's happening?
That's the way it seems now, yes. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay.
But I told him, and telling you the same thing. I wanted to come talk to you first and see if there was some other explanation. But once I get involved and somebody's got marks on them,
Sure.
and it's from some kind of a
Altercation.
So am I going to lose my job? Like, I mean,
you work at NB's, what he said.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. You can ask them, but I don't know why.
Okay.
You know,
I wouldn't see why.
this has nothing to do with that necessarily. You didn't intentionally cause him harm, is what you're saying, but maybe it happened during.
I just wanted to get out of the room and go.
And see, this is why I say money is so important in any relationship. Because like I said, if she put hands on him because he's spending so much money, it's hurting their financial situation. I don't agree with putting your hands on him, but I understand that. This is why, and I'll say it like I've always said on this channel, another reason why I will never get legally married is because once you become one, if someone is poor with money, it can affect you, especially when people have so much debt that you don't know, and that debt kind of becomes one, depending on where you live. I had to make sure I said that. It could really blindside you, and you could be and you could be angry, because I know someone who had a wife, and behind his back she spent like $3,500 and he didn't know about it, and you could tell he was upset. So if she was in that situation, I completely can understand that, but it's never okay to put your hands on someone regardless. But when emotions are running high like that, I can understand why people do snap.
We had just gotten an AEP bill they do a thing where they settle up, where we ended up getting charged almost $1,200. And then I found out he had been spending more than I make in a week on sports cards.
Sports cards?
Yeah.
Okay. He says about finances, but not that.
I was pretty lost. I didn't know if we were going to be able to pay for everything.
Okay.
It got.
He said you had to work at 10, right?
I do.
See, so that's telling. So in other words, he was spending money on sports cards. I want to say she said cards, not cars, like the sport, like baseball and basketball. So you're spending all that money and you're living paycheck to paycheck. And she just said they didn't know if they had enough to pay for the bills that month. So I can understand why emotions and tensions are high, because he's being stupid with money.
Do you want to call your work and let him know? I might have to place you under arrest, is what's going to happen, and take you out of the jail.
Can I put things in my pockets in here?
That's fine, as long as you let me come with you.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
You don't necessarily have to tell them what's going on. It's a personal matter. You just tell me
I
something
mean, it's
came
getting
up.
ready to get posted, isn't it?
We have no control over what gets posted on the internet.
Well, I figured, the busted usually. I guess you're probably glad you caught me, because I was getting ready to leave for work.
Yeah, that's what he'd said, so.
I don't I've never had this happen, so I don't really even know what's going on. Okay,
Yeah,
that's locked.
I wanted to get you here before you went to work, because I don't like doing that when people have to go to work.
Well, quite honestly, in the
He
heat of
did
the
say
moment.
that he did not want to file charges, but it's not really up to the state. So there's complaint, there's injuries, then we don't.
Yeah,
It's state law, we have to.
That's fine.
I don't know if that means anything.
Do
but-
I have to?
Yeah, I'll cuff you up here.
Okay.
Yeah, he said that he wanted to file the report, but he didn't want to file charges, but we don't really have a choice when somebody comes in and they have marks on them. Like that. So,
I'm gonna walk over to the SUV there.
you don't have anything else on you?
No.
No weapon, no weapon.
I just saw the weapon.
Okay. No.
Just hop in the back there?
Yep. Do you have any criminal record at all?
No.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I probably did that a little bit aggressively.
That's all right. Ollie, just so you know what's going on, you'll be held there till tomorrow morning and you'll be arraigned at the courthouse.
So you said I get out tomorrow? Is that how that works?
You'll be arraigned tomorrow, and that's where you'll initially speak to the judge and enter a plea of guilty or not guilty, and he'll either release you or set bond.
Am I allowed to speak to a lawyer at any point?
Yeah.
I guess I just don't know how this process works.
Yeah, when you get into the jail, you'll have access to their telephone to call, and then also if you don't have a lawyer by tomorrow, they appoint you a public defender in the morning.
People always ask me how come anywhere I would go, or if I was moving, I would always look at the laws. This is why. Because even though I'm never in these situations, I would say I'm smart enough to not put myself in these situations. I do understand, and I learn from these. This is the reason why I watch these videos and do the reactions with y'all, is because I always try to find ways to learn and become better so I don't have to go through those. So y'all know the laws in your county and state, wherever you live at.
So they will typically tell you to plead not guilty, and then they'll set it for later dates.
I apologize. I don't understand how this works really. Kind of new. So what if my family has a lawyer? Can I call my mom to get that information?
Yeah, you can work it out however you guys need.
I'm going to attempt to get my phone out.
But at least she didn't try to assault the officer and make it worse for herself and add on charges.
She'll take it from you when you.
So at least that's a good thing, that she's level-headed now.
Seeking to train a newbie. Hopefully I won't repent. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize to me. And
I know, but
it's just,
you guys...
this is the way things happen sometimes.
It's okay. It's okay. Things have been going well for a while. It felt like something was about to go weird. Did your day otherwise pretty good?
That's okay. Yeah, I'm just listening. We've been looking.
Men and women don't ever have that mindset. Did you hear what she said? She said things have been going well, been going good in her life, that something's bound to happen wrong. No, that's deflection and lack of accountability. You made a poor decision to put your hands on him. I'm not saying I don't understand where you're coming from because he was being bad with money, but you still need to keep your hands to yourself.
Somebody that broke into something, and that's what we're chasing right now. So,
Sounds interesting. Do I just keep walking? Okay, you just tell me.
and then just stand right here, the window, and then the jailer will come in and talk to you.
Yes,
That's
usually
good.
things don't usually go like this.
There's a lot of times it's not very quiet in here.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes you get people in the cells that are loud and obnoxious.
I do have one giving me quite the eye. Actually, in 7th grade, I did a report on this building about it being haunted. I don't remember what it was about or how it was haunted, but I think it is.
Yes.
Is it? Okay. See, I should have talked to you back in 7th grade. It's been a while, but...
The woman was arrested and charged with domestic violence. If she's convicted, what do you think the punishment should be? Drop your opinion in the comments.
And y'all, the reason why I do these videos is not to make fun of anybody's misfortune. It's always to learn and react with y'all, to take bits and pieces to where you don't ever have to go through this in life. And like I said, if I had a son or a daughter, I would sit down with them and go over these videos with them, because as I've always said, it's best to learn from people's mistakes so you don't ever have to go through them. And y'all, what do y'all think about this video, and what would you do? Would you press the charges? Y'all know I would. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. This is part of the 365 challenge. I want to say, what, day 17? I appreciate all the support, and I will see y'all in the next video.